Now let's talk about the story that's left the WWE Universe emotional this week. Former Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley, one of the biggest superstars in modern wrestling, has opened up in a deeply personal and emotional message that's taken fans by surprise. Known as the Nightmare for her fearless in-ring persona, Ripley has always represented power, dominance, and unshakable confidence. But her latest post wasn't about titles or rivalries. It was about vulnerability, healing, and humanity. The canceled appearance that sparked a concern. It all started when Rhea Ripley was scheduled to make an appearance at Hot Topic in Irvine, California, where she was set to meet fans, sign autographs, and celebrate her growing popularity as one of WWE's top stars. But just days before the event, news broke that the meet and greet had been canceled. Hot Topic issued an official statement on Instagram confirming the cancellation and cited that the decision was made due to unforeseen circumstances. Shortly after, Rhea herself reshared the post with a brief but emotional message. "So sorry to everyone that paid to meet me at Hot Topic," she wrote. "Hopefully we can reschedule, and I can meet you all soon." On the surface, it seemed like a minor setback. WWE superstars often deal with scheduling changes or minor injuries that affect appearances. However, this time felt different. Fans who have followed Rhea for years immediately noticed something off in her tone. There was no trace of her usual swagger, no signature mommy energy, as her fans affectionately call it. Her words sounded heavier, her apology more personal, as though something much deeper was weighing on her. The cancellation came just days after Rhea suffered a minor nose injury during WWE's live event in Tokyo on October 18th. During her match at the Tokyo House Show, she was seen clutching her face after a collision before being escorted backstage by medical personnel. Though WWE initially downplayed the incident, sources revealed that she was advised to rest and avoid further strain. Still, fans couldn't shake the feeling that her social media message carried a tone of vulnerability rarely seen from her. Many began posting messages of concern, wondering whether there was more to the story than the company was letting on. And they were right. An emotional apology that stopped fans in their tracks. A few days later, Rhea Ripley took to social media once again. But this time, it wasn't about an injury update or a future appearance. It was something far more personal. Her message began with two simple words that instantly captured the attention of millions. "So sorry." What followed was a message that stunned the WWE Universe. It wasn't a carefully crafted PR statement or a promotional update. It was raw, real, and deeply emotional. Rhea opened up about her struggles, admitting that she had been dealing with overwhelming pressure, both physically and mentally. "Sometimes the strongest people break too," she wrote. "I've always tried to be the one who keeps going, who never shows weakness, but lately I haven't been okay." For fans who have admired Rhea's toughness, this was a revelation. She went on to explain that the constant grind of fame, travel, and expectations had taken a toll on her body and her mind. "I owe it to everyone to say I'm sorry for the missed shows, for not being myself lately, for letting people down," she added. The post included a black and white photo of Rhea sitting quietly, her head bowed, her signature smirk replaced with a pensive, almost tearful look. It was a stark contrast to the fierce warrior fans had come to know. And perhaps that's what made it so powerful. For the first time, the WWE Universe wasn't seeing Rhea Ripley the performer. They were seeing Demi Bennett, the human being behind the superstar. The reaction was immediate. Thousands of fans flooded her comments section with words of love and support. "You don't owe us anything," one fan wrote. "You've given us years of your strength. Now it's time for us to give it back." Another added, "Seeing you admit that you're struggling doesn't make you weak, it makes you real." The reality behind the persona born Demi Bennett in Adelaide, Australia, Rhea Ripley has defied odds her entire life. At just 29, she has achieved what few in wrestling ever do. Global fame, multiple championship reigns, and a reputation as one of the most dominant women in WWE history. From her early days in NXT to her explosive main roster run, Rhea carved her own path through sheer grit and determination. Her unique blend of gothic style, athletic power, and magnetic charisma made her a breakout star. redefining what strength looks like in women's wrestling. But behind the success lies a story of relentless effort and impossible pressure. Insiders have described Rhea's past year as one of the busiest schedules in WWE. Between international tours, TV appearances, and pay-per-view main events, she was constantly on the move. She's been running non-stop, one WWE insider told Wrestling Observer. She never slows down, never complains, but you could tell she was running on fumes. Even warriors need rest. The physical toll of wrestling, the bumps, the training, the injuries, is well documented. But what fans rarely see is the emotional cost. Constant travel means time away from family, inconsistent sleep, and the pressure to maintain peak performance under the spotlight. For Rhea, that pressure multiplied. She wasn't just another superstar, she was the face of a generation, the centerpiece of the Judgment Day, and one of WWE's most marketable names. Behind her confident persona, Rhea was quietly carrying the weight of expectations that few could imagine. "She's got that unbreakable aura," said one backstage official. "But when you're carrying a company, sometimes you forget you're human too." A hidden grief revealed. While fans were already moved by her earlier apology about needing time away from WWE, Rhea's follow-up revelation added a heartbreaking new layer to the story. In an emotional social media post, she shared that she had recently suffered a personal loss, one that had shaken her to the core. Without disclosing details or naming anyone specifically, Rhea revealed that someone close to her had passed away unexpectedly. Her words were simple but powerful. "Grief doesn't care how tough you are. It hits you when you least expect it. I thought I could just throw myself into my work, but it doesn't work that way. I needed to step back to feel, to heal, and to be human again." The post resonated with millions. Fans who had faced loss themselves immediately related to her pain. For weeks, many had speculated about her quieter demeanor and reduced appearances. But now everything made sense. Her absences weren't about storylines or scheduling. They were about survival. Rhea Ripley had been carrying her grief in silence while performing for millions around the world, smiling through pain that few could comprehend. What fans once saw as creative evolution in her character, a darker tone, a more reflective intensity, was in reality a reflection of her real-life heartbreak. Observers noted that she looked different in recent weeks, not physically but emotionally. Her eyes, usually sharp and defiant, carried a softness, a quiet sorrow. Her promos, always fierce and confident, now carried an undertone of vulnerability. What the audience thought was just the Judgment Day's creative direction was, in truth, Rhea holding herself together through unimaginable sadness. Her confession did something few moments in wrestling ever do. It stripped away the spectacle and revealed the human being beneath the persona. In opening up about her grief, Rhea Ripley reminded millions of fans that even their heroes can hurt, and that mental and emotional health are just as vital as physical strength. Her honesty, raw, humble, and sincere, became a source of healing for countless fans, silently fighting their own battles. Rhea's message wasn't just about her loss, it was about the universal truth that even the strongest people need to pause, to cry, and to let themselves feel. The world reacts with compassion. The moment Rhea's message went public, the wrestling community, and far beyond, responded with an outpouring of compassion. The flood of support that followed was unlike anything WWE had seen in years. Messages came pouring in from fellow wrestlers, fans, sports outlets, and even professionals outside the wrestling world who saw in Rhea's words something rare: authenticity. Her Judgment Day ally and close real-life friend, Dominic Mysterio, was among the first to react. He reposted her statement with the caption, "You've got nothing to apologize for, Mommy. We're always with you." It was a simple but heartfelt acknowledgement of their bond, one that had grown from their on-screen partnership into a genuine friendship built on mutual respect. Becky Lynch, one of WWE's biggest stars, also offered her support, writing, "You've carried this division on your back for months. Take all the time you need. We love you." Bianca Belair, another top WWE name, echoed that sentiment. "Rhea's strength isn't just in her muscles, it's in her heart. Sending love to you and your family. Even stars from other promotions stepped in to show love. Toni Storm, a fellow Australian and current AEW performer who once shared a locker room with Rhea, commented, "Proud of you, mate. Grief's tough, but you're tougher." The wave of empathy was massive, cutting across rival brands, companies, and fan bases. It wasn't about competition anymore. It was about community. Wrestlers who had once stood across from Rhea in the ring were now standing beside her in spirit, sending strength to one of their own. Her story didn't just stay within the wrestling world either. Major sports outlets covered her revelation with compassion. Sports Illustrated wrote, "Rhea Ripley shows that even champions need to heal," while ESPN highlighted how her words shed light on the emotional cost of stardom. Mental health organizations praised her for helping break the stigma around vulnerability in high-pressure environments. Psychologists weighed in as well, applauding her courage. Rhea Ripley's message reminds us that strength and vulnerability aren't opposites, said Dr. Linda Carver, a sports psychologist who specializes in athlete wellness. They're deeply connected. Her openness will help others realize that asking for help isn't weakness. It's resilience. The collective reaction was powerful. For years, professional wrestling had been built on the illusion of invincibility. Larger-than-life characters who never showed pain outside the script. But Rhea's honesty shattered that barrier. Her message wasn't scripted. It was real, raw, and relatable. It reminded the world that behind every superstar who performs for our entertainment is a human being with emotions, relationships, and heartbreak. The wrestling world rallies around her. The wrestling community has always been a family. Competitive, chaotic, but ultimately bound by shared passion. And in Rhea Ripley's moment of vulnerability, that family showed up for her in full force. From current champions to legends and rookies, the message was clear. Rhea wasn't alone. Dominic Mysterio, who has been by Rhea's side as both her on-screen ally and close friend, again led the chorus of support. "You've got nothing to apologize for, Mommy. We love you always," he wrote, reposting her message. The caption captured the emotional connection fans have seen between them. One rooted not in kayfabe, but in genuine friendship. Becky Lynch's message echoed through the locker room. "You've carried this division on your back for months. Take all the time you need coming from the man who knows the demands of being a top star." Those words carried extra weight. Bianca Belair also chimed in with heartfelt words. "Rhea's strength doesn't just come from her muscles, it comes from her heart." The support wasn't limited to WWE. Across the wrestling world, performers from AEW, Impact, and even New Japan expressed their solidarity. Toni Storm, another proud Australian, commented, "Proud of you, mate. Grief's tough, but you're tougher." That message, one of empathy rather than rivalry, underscored just how respected Rhea has become across the entire industry. It's rare to see such universal respect in professional wrestling. Rhea's honesty cut through the usual competitiveness and united people under a shared truth. Behind the personas, the fame, and the rivalries, wrestlers are human beings who feel deeply and hurt deeply. The outpouring of love wasn't just a reaction. It was a reflection of who Rhea Ripley is. Her colleagues didn't just admire her for her power or success. They loved her for her authenticity, her leadership, and her heart. She had always been known as someone who lifted others up backstage, the kind of person who would stay late to mentor younger talent or make fans' day with an unexpected interaction. Now that same kindness was coming back to her tenfold. A global wave of empathy. As Rhea's story spread beyond wrestling, it began to take on a life of its own. Her words, "Grief doesn't care how tough you are," became a rallying cry across social media, printed on fan-made posters, T-shirts, and artwork. Fans began sharing their own stories of loss and healing, using hashtags like #We love you, Rhea, and #Healing like the nightmare. Mental health advocates praised her bravery, calling it a turning point for visibility in sports entertainment. Rhea Ripley used her platform to do something bigger than wrestling, one advocate wrote. She reminded the world that mental health is as important as physical strength, that even champions cry. That's not weakness. That's courage. Media outlets across the world picked up her story. From Australia to the UK to the US, headlines celebrated her vulnerability. The nightmare shows her human side, Rhea Ripley breaks the silence on grief, and even superheroes need time to heal. The response wasn't just about sympathy, it was about connection. Rhea's post made people feel seen. She became a symbol of emotional strength, the kind that doesn't come from dominance, but from honesty. The power of being real. Rhea Ripley's story has redefined what it means to be strong in professional wrestling. For years, she built her identity on power, physical, mental, and emotional. But in showing her pain, she revealed a deeper kind of strength, authenticity. Her willingness to show vulnerability in a business built on toughness has opened the door for others to do the same. Her message also marks a shift in how the wrestling community views mental health. For decades, the industry celebrated endurance above all else, the ability to keep going no matter the pain. But Rhea's honesty has shown that stepping back doesn't mean stepping down. It means surviving. It means healing. By admitting that she needed to step back to feel and to heal, Rhea reminded everyone, from young athletes to everyday fans, that taking care of yourself is not a sign of weakness, but a step toward true strength. In the end, Rhea Ripley's grief is something personal, but her courage in sharing it has become something universal. She's shown that even nightmares end, and when they do, there's light waiting on the other side. Her story is no longer just about being the nightmare. It's about being human and reminding the world that even heroes sometimes need to rest their armor, breathe, and simply be. The human side of the nightmare. Inside the ring, Rhea Ripley is a force of nature, a walking storm of aggression, confidence, and power. Her nightmare persona has become iconic. The leather jackets, the dark eyeliner, the death stare that can silence an entire arena. She walks to the ring like she owns it, because in many ways she does. Her dominance, both physical and psychological, has made her one of the most feared competitors in WWE history. But outside the ring, Rhea's recent words revealed something different. Beneath the tattoos and the attitude, there's a woman who feels pain, pressure, and heartbreak just like anyone else. "I always say that I'm the nightmare," she wrote in her post, "but lately it's felt like I've been living through one. The difference is nightmares end, and I know I'll come out stronger on the other side." That one sentence changed everything. It stripped away the layers of her character and gave fans a rare glimpse into the soul of someone who has spent years projecting strength. For the first time, Rhea Ripley wasn't speaking as a WWE superstar. She was speaking as Demi Bennett, the person behind the persona. She also took the opportunity to encourage others who might be struggling to seek help. "There's no shame in needing help," she wrote. "If you're struggling too, please reach out. You don't have to fight alone." Her words resonated far beyond wrestling, touching fans who had been silently fighting their own battles. Many admitted that Rhea's honesty gave them the courage to talk to someone or ask for help for the first time. In an industry that celebrates toughness above all else, Rhea's message was a reminder that true strength isn't about never breaking, it's about knowing when to ask for help. WWE's response and future plans? As soon as Rhea's post went viral, WWE knew they had to respond. Within hours, the company released an official statement offering their full support. "We fully support Rhea Ripley during this difficult period," the statement read. "Her health and well-being are our top priorities, and we stand by her as she takes time to recover and heal." It was short but powerful, an acknowledgement of her need for space and a public commitment to prioritizing her welfare above the brand. Sources inside WWE later confirmed that Rhea personally requested personal time off, something she hasn't done since her early days with the company. "She's been a workhorse," one veteran producer told Wrestling Observer. "She's carried this company through some of its biggest storylines and toughest schedules. If anyone deserves a break, it's Rhea." Behind the scenes, conversations within WWE Creative reportedly shifted after her message. Instead of seeing her time away as a setback, company officials began planning how to honor her resilience upon her return. The goal wasn't to exploit her vulnerability, but to celebrate it, to turn her personal growth into part of her character's evolution. "This isn't the end of her story," another insider shared. "It's a new beginning. Fans will see a Rhea Ripley who's more powerful, more grounded, and more real than ever before." WWE has also decided to make adjustments to her future schedule. Gone are the days of constant travel, back-to-back live events, and limited downtime. Instead, the focus is on balance, creating space for recovery and long-term well-being. One executive described the move as part of a larger cultural shift within WWE. We're learning from the past. The days of pushing talent to the brink are over. Rhea's honesty reminded us that no one, not even our champions, is indestructible. The company's willingness to adapt reflects the lasting impact Rhea Ripley has had, not only as a performer, but as a person who continues to inspire change within her industry. Fans show unwavering love. The WWE Universe's response to Rhea's emotional post was nothing short of extraordinary. Within hours, hashtags like #WeLoveYouRhea and #StayStrongMommy were trending worldwide. Fans from every corner of the globe came together to show their love and gratitude for the woman who has given so much of herself to entertain and inspire them. Social media was flooded with fan art, video compilations, and heartfelt tributes. Many posted clips of Rhea's most iconic moments. Her first championship victory at WrestleMania, her intense promos alongside Dominic Mysterio in Judgment Day, and the way she fearlessly stood toe-to-toe with male and female opponents alike. These moments were now being re-watched through a new lens, not as symbols of dominance, but of determination and endurance. One fan wrote, "Rhea Ripley made me believe that strength isn't about never breaking. It's about standing back up when you do." Another added, "She's been there for us every week, giving her all. Now it's our turn to be there for her." For years, Rhea's character has embodied intimidation, the kind of superstar who thrives on being feared. But her honesty has created a deeper connection with fans, transforming fear into empathy. The WWE Universe wasn't just cheering for the nightmare anymore. They were standing by Rhea, the person. This reaction also reflected a changing world. Not long ago, vulnerability might have been mistaken for weakness. But in 2025, fans understand the importance of mental health, self-care, and emotional honesty. In an industry where the line between fiction and reality often blurs, Rhea's sincerity cut through the noise. Her message reminded fans that behind every tough exterior, there's a heart that feels deeply. And that's what makes her story so relatable. The message that resonated beyond wrestling. Rhea Ripley's message didn't just stay within the wrestling community, it rippled far beyond it. Sports journalists, mental health advocates, and even mainstream media outlets praised her for opening up about the emotional challenges of professional life. ESPN, Sports Illustrated, and several mental health organizations covered her story, each highlighting how her words had sparked an important conversation about the human side of fame. Rhea Ripley showed more courage in those few paragraphs than most people ever do. One sports journalist wrote, "She reminded us that even superheroes take off their armor sometimes." Her words became part of a growing global movement where athletes are beginning to prioritize mental well-being over constant performance. In recent years, sports icons like Simone Biles, Naomi Osaka, and Jon Moxley have spoken openly about burnout, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion. Rhea's openness adds a powerful new voice to that conversation, one that carries special significance in the world of wrestling, where toughness has long been worn as a badge of honor. "She's helping to change the narrative," said one mental health advocate. "By speaking out, Rhea is showing that it's okay for athletes, especially women in high-pressure environments, to admit when they need rest, healing, and balance." Her message has also sparked initiatives within wrestling schools and fan communities to promote mental health awareness. Trainers are now encouraging young wrestlers to speak up when they're struggling instead of pushing through pain. In fan circles, Rhea's honesty has inspired people to share their own stories, from burnout to grief to depression, and to remind one another that no one fights alone. Perhaps what makes her words so powerful is their duality. Rhea Ripley is both a warrior and a survivor, a performer who can deliver a devastating riptide in the ring and still be brave enough to say, "I need time to heal." That duality is redefining what strength means in the modern era. Strength isn't about pretending to be okay. It's about being real enough to admit when you're not. The strength to rise again. Right now, Rhea Ripley is taking time away from WWE, not to hide, but to heal. There's no official timeline for her return, and that's exactly how she wants it. This break isn't a retreat from her career. It's an act of self-preservation. For someone who has spent years giving everything to her craft, this pause is about reclaiming her sense of peace and rediscovering herself. This time away isn't about retreat, Rhea wrote in her message. It's about recovery. It's about finding myself again. Sources close to her have shared that Rhea has been focusing on physical therapy, spending more time with her family in Australia, and working with professionals to prioritize her mental health. For the first time in years, she's learning what it means to slow down, to exist without the constant roar of an arena crowd or the pressure of weekly television appearances. When she does return, and make no mistake she will, it's expected to be one of the most emotional and inspiring comebacks in recent WWE history. Fans are already speculating that her return will be marked by a raw, unfiltered promo, one that bridges her real-life journey with her in-ring persona. A comeback not fueled by revenge or rivalry, but by renewal. Her final words in her emotional post have already become a mantra for millions. I'll be back stronger, smarter, and more grateful than ever. But for now, I just need time. Those words embody her transformation. For years, Rhea Ripley has been defined by physical power. Now she's teaching the world about a different kind of power, the power to pause, reflect, and rise with purpose. A legacy of strength redefined Rhea. Ripley's emotional apology wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a redefining moment in the history of WWE. It reminded the world that real heroes aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who rise again after falling. For years, Rhea has been the embodiment of rebellion, strength, and dominance. But through her vulnerability, she's become something far greater, a symbol of authenticity and hope. Her legacy is no longer limited to championships or accolades. It now represents resilience, humanity, and courage. She has reminded fans everywhere that strength isn't about being invincible. It's about being brave enough to show the cracks in your armor and the heart beneath it. She hasn't lost her power, said one fellow WWE star. She's transformed it. And that transformation is what will define the next phase of her career. When she returns, it won't just be as the nightmare. It'll be as the woman who walked through darkness and found light, someone who faced her pain head-on and emerged stronger because of it. Her story has also inspired others within WWE to open up about their struggles, signaling a cultural shift toward empathy and understanding. In an environment built on spectacle and strength, Rhea Ripley's vulnerability stands as one of the most powerful moments of all. As messages of love continue to pour in from fans around the world, one truth remains. Rhea Ripley's greatest victory isn't in the ring, it's in the courage she showed outside of it. Because real strength isn't about never falling. It's about standing back up every single time. And this time, when Rhea Ripley rises, the entire world will rise with her.